Hello everyone, my name is Yogesh Paruthi and I'm a Consumer Safety Officer in the Drug Registration and Listing branch within OUDLC at FDA. Today I want to discuss about who should not register or list their products with the FDA. After participating in this session, you should be able to provide registration and listing exemptions. You should be able to explain the legal status conferred by registration and listing. You should also be able to describe the implications of an incorrect submission. So let's begin with registration and listing exemptions. As described under 21 CFR 207.13, pharmacies that operate in conformance with all applicable local laws regulating the practice of pharmacy and medicine who do not manufacture, repack, relabel, or salvage drugs other than in the regular course of their business of dispensing or selling drugs at retail. Hospital, clinics, and other healthcare entities and public health agencies that operate establishments in conformance with all applicable local laws regulating the practice of pharmacy and medicine who do not manufacture, repack, relabel, or salvage drugs other than in the regular course of their practice of pharmacy, including dispensing. Manufacturers, repackers, relabelers, or salvagers who manufacture, repack, relabel, or salvage drugs only for use in research, teaching, or chemical analysis and not for sale, including clinical trials. Manufacturers, repackers, and relabelers of harmless inactive ingredients such as excipients, colorings, flavorings, emulsifiers, lubricants, preservatives, or solvent that become components of drugs. Practitioners who are licensed by law to prescribe or administer drugs and who manufacture, repack, relabel, or salvage drugs only for use in their professional practice. Individuals or establishments under contract, agreement, or other arrangements with a registered establishment and engage solely in recovering cells or tissue and sending the recovered cells or tissue to the registered establishment to become components of a biological product are exempt from registration and listing under this part, unless FDA determines that drug establishment registration and listing is necessary for the protection of the public health. Please note, this is not a full list of all the exemptions. For a full list of exemption, please visit 21 CFR 207.13. Now that we know the exemptions, let's talk about what these exemptions have in common. First, they do not engage in the manufacturing, repackaging, relabeling, or salvaging of any drug for U.S. commercial distribution. Second, the drug that they manufacture does not enter U.S. commercial distribution. So why companies may incorrectly register and list? Some companies may use FDA registration and listing to falsely represent that FDA has stated their product is legal or approved. They want their product to appear as a drug in certain publication when it is not a drug. So do not register or list your products incorrectly, as it may be illegal. If you are not sure, send us an email and we can help or guide you to the correct office. So what does registration and listing legal status means? So FDA's acceptance of registration and listing form information, inclusion of a drug in our database of drugs, or assignment of an NDC does not denote approval of the establishment or the drug or any other drug of the establishment, nor does it mean that the drug may be legally marketed. To add what we just discussed, neither registration nor listing constitutes a determination by FDA that a product is a drug, as defined by Section 201G1 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Registration and listing may, however, be evidence that a facility intends to or does manufacture, repack, relabel, distribute, or salvage drugs, or that a product is intended to be a drug. Also, you could also be misbranded if you make any false representation that creates the impression that a drug is approved or is legally marketable because it appears in our databases of drugs. Therefore, you should not use FDA logo, or use the term FDA registered to denote legitimacy or approval by FDA, or include the term FDA approved for a product that is not subject to FDA review and approval or is not approved by FDA. So, what are the implications of an incorrect submission? You may be assessed and subject to other requirements such as user fees due, FDA inspections, CGMP requirements, and drug amount reporting requirements. So we have our first challenge question here. And the question is, you should list your drug product intended for use in clinical trials and not for sale. Is it A, true, or B, false? If you guessed false, you are correct. Okay, so it's time for our challenge question number 2. And the question is, you should register your establishment even though your drugs are not imported or offered for import into US. Is it A, true, or B, false? If you guessed false, you are correct. Challenge question number 3. A registered establishment is subject to FDA inspection. Is it A, true, or B, false? If you guessed A, true, you are correct. For more information about the topics covered today, here is the link to FDA's electronic drug registration listing instruction. In summary, products that are not drugs should not be listed. Facilities that do not manufacture or process drugs should not be registered. Questions will be answered in the live Q&A segment. Thank you.